There's photos of Nancy Pelosi with JFK. Think of that. That was before we didn't go to the moon.
Yeah.
It was 1963.
That was before Israel didn't kill him.
You think so?
I didn't say anything.
I heard you say Israel killed him.
You did?
That's what I heard.
Jamie, did you put something in this?
They didn't. The glasses. They didn't do it. Oh, before Israel didn't do it. Oh, yeah. I see what you did. They got me.
Yeah. How much longer does Israel let us stay alive, do you think? That's the big question.
Why were they...
What did you say? Is that AI?
What are you saying?
That's Sora?
Fuck are you saying?
I didn't say anything.
What are you saying?
Huh? Talking about Israel Adesanya.
Oh, well, he loves you. Don't worry about it.
People just want to kind of keep these higher powers. They know what they're doing. It just starts to feel like the experiment, like we're just really seeing the experiment, you know? It's almost like, say you were playing the game Mario or something,
right?
And one day Mario, instead of just going this way on the screen, he fucking turns and looks at you, and he's like, I see what you're doing. That's what it feels like we are right now. Like we're looking at the people controlling everything and be like,
yeah.
Oh.
That's all because of the internet, dog.
All right, so Theo Vaughn was just on Joe Rogan's podcast, and this was a wild episode. Theo was going off about Israel, Palantir, global surveillance, Epstein, and Rogan's handler, Peter Thiel, who Rogan had to defend a few times and try to calm Theo down because Theo was getting really worked up about this stuff, and Joe seemed kind of concerned about it, you know, because Joe said Theo started to spiral a few months ago. And then during this podcast, you could tell Joe definitely thought Theo was being way too paranoid. So Rogan had to push back a lot, which he rarely does anymore. But I think he's worried Theo's losing it. And he obviously doesn't like his guest talking bad about Peter Thiel and saying inflammatory stuff about Israel. Like even with the Epstein files, now Rogan seems really uncomfortable talking about it since he knows a lot of people wrapped up in it. Like Peter Thiel, who downplayed his involvement with Epstein on Rogan's podcast. Also, his name was mentioned in the recent email drop. Epstein said it was fun meeting with him in 2014. So Rogan knows he has to be careful when talking about this stuff since he knows a bunch of people associated with Epstein, and him and Theo helped Trump get elected, which doesn't look good. So when Theo says the government is trying to protect pedophiles, Joe's like, do you really think that? And then he tries to change the subject.
You're setting, and they don't live in nice neighborhoods. You know, like now there's a lot of like billionaire files that our government protects and stuff, but back then...
You really think so?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's what makes me nervous. I don't know.
I mean, they just had that thing that came out about the Trump Epstein thing the other day. That whole thing's just a kickball at this point, I feel like.
Bro, have you ever seen that video of me and Tim Dillon where Tim Dillon is laying out the scandal that took place and like...
Yeah, so Rogan's in too deep, and Theo kind of is too. That's why he's losing his shit. You know, because he thinks the U.S. government and Israel are protecting pedophiles, spying on everyone with Palantir, and it sounds like are even having people assassinated, which is pretty wild considering he had on Trump, who's obviously connected to Epstein, and Thiel was one of his first big donors, and he tapped Palantir to make a database on every American, and he's also very pro-Israel and likes Netanyahu. Also, Theo had on J.D. Vance twice, who's a Thiel plant, and Theo's friends with Jared Kushner, who's connected to Epstein, Netanyahu, and Thiel. So if he actually believes that's what's going on, he's flying really close to the sun, and I don't think he can handle it. You know, if you're going to be calling out Epstein, Israel, and Palantir, I don't know if you want to be hanging out with J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, and Jared Kushner. Because, I mean, now it sounds like Theo's really paranoid, and he thinks people are trying to take him out. Because also right after Charlie Kirk got assassinated, the DHS put out that video with him in it, which caused him to get a lot of backlash and death threats. And the way he was talking about all this stuff during the podcast, it seems like he might believe that video was meant to be a threat or a warning or something. You know, like they're trying to scare him from talking about certain topics or people. Also, Theo said he's been hanging out with Candace Owens recently, and you know she's definitely putting these ideas in his head.
A lot of people think that Luigi was like some MK Ultra thing. That they tricked him and hypnotized him and got him to go in and shoot that guy.
Well, I think there's a lot of that going on. And yes, I did have dinner at Candace Owens' house recently, so maybe...
The Homeland Security? Was that what it was?
Yeah, just put it up online. And it was
it
after
Homeland
the Charlie
Security?
Kirk thing. Yeah, and so then I was like super scared, you remember? Yeah. Remember, I was texting like you. I was just texting people to make sure everybody's okay. I didn't know if they were like just going to kill people that had been on TikTok or whatever. Like, I had no idea what they were going to do.
I just can't believe they did that with you, where they just put it in there as if like you were endorsing that.
Well, it just kind of, and it was just a scary time. That was the same time as
who
after the Charlie Kirk thing.
That? Who greenlit that? It's like, that's not how you envisioned the government. The government made a hype video.
Yeah, they were making like deportation hype videos with trap beats and shit. And I was like, what are we doing? That's what I'm saying. Everything is turned into like the WWE. none of it's real.
It's 100% that Mike Judge movie. It's Idiocracy.
Oh, Idiocracy, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was scary, man. Because then I got because there was just like a lot of threats, and then things got like then it was just kind of that made me kind of paranoid.
And then Theo said he had a breakdown at a doctor's appointment because someone working there was a fan and tried to give him a gift, and then someone took a picture of him outside, so he freaked out and he maybe thought he was being spied on or somebody was after him or something. So Rogan had to spend a lot of time during this podcast trying to calm him down and tell him it's not the end of the world. And this is the most pushback he's given a guest in a while. Like when they started talking about Palantir and Peter Thiel, Rogan got really defensive because Thiel's been getting a lot of backlash recently. And Joe gets really annoyed that his comedy friends keep making fun of his billionaire tech friends. Like he also got pissed that his friends were calling Elon Musk a Nazi.
I have friends that are comedians that called you a Nazi, and I got pissed off.
Are you serious?
Them. Oh yeah.
Like
he's
not
definitely
as a
Nazi.
joke?
No, because you did that thing at the. My heart goes out
like
to you.
everyone
like
who's done
everyone, all of them,
literally.
Tim Walz.
So Rogan hates comedians bashing Elon and Thiel because Rogan's completely sold out to them and is totally ready to embrace AI, mind reading, and transhumanism. Like he randomly started talking about how humans are going to go extinct soon. And he's like, man, Thiel gets a lot of shit, but he's 100% right. Then he starts defending him from everybody claiming he's evil, which is probably what Theo thinks. You know, he doesn't say anything bad about him here, but afterwards he goes off about Palantir, which gets pretty awkward. And then also Candace Owens probably has Theo convinced that Peter Thiel is a human hybrid that's already merged with technology and AI.
And look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know, like when my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know, I'm not going to stab them, but I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out. You know what I mean?
So Joe probably doesn't love that Theo hangs out with her and is being influenced by her. Like Joe even gets defensive about that interview Thiel did where he's asked if humans should survive. And he criticizes the interviewer and says he didn't let Thiel stutter and stammer long enough.
Yeah.
While we're human, and I think that's we have only so much sand left in that hourglass. Where the humans are on the way out. I know a lot of people hate it when Peter Thiel says it. Like, Peter Thiel is a terrible person. He's evil.
Do you think he is?
No. I think he's just telling you the truth. I think he's, you know, when they said, do you think human beings should survive? And he had like this long pause.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then the interviewer was like, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. You think human beings should, which is not how you're supposed to do an interview. Well, at least not how I do it. I would let him talk as long as he wants. Like, I would let, if you watch my podcast I did with him, is these long ass stammers where he's like, everything he does, he wants to be very careful before he answers it. So he wants to consider what he's saying.
Sorry, which one do I think is most corrupt? Or what?
No,
what
what about them? These when you said corrupt?
Yeah. Well, man, it's.
So then Theo starts going off about Palantir and how Israel's using it in Gaza, and things get really awkward. Like Joe, it seems like, does not want to talk about it, and he's like, "What are you saying? What are you talking about?" And then he asks Jamie about it, and Jamie doesn't want to say anything either. So Theo's like, all right, I'll move on now. But then he starts freaking out about how paranoid he is about Palantir surveillance and how he thinks a Palantir drone might have taken out Charlie Kirk.
Well, it's sketchy times. I mean, the same company, Palantir, that was doing all that crazy stuff in Gaza, in Gaza, and they were like, you know, running all the drones and stuff like this, allegedly.
What are you talking about? What are you saying they did?
That they had were compiling data on people that were there, and they were operating a lot of the drones in the sky that also had weapons attached to them.
Okay, so you mean like facial recognition data?
Right.
Do they have that capability with drones, where they could just zoom around? Is this horseshit? Is it real? Jamie's not even willing to talk on camera. He's,
Okay.
just, he's giving
I'll
me
be
winks
quiet
and
then.
nods. I'm sure they do.
But we have a
no,
big,
no.
They got a
listen.
big contract in America now, which is scary to me. That's what's scary to me. That a drone could go by. That maybe that's what happened to Charlie Kirk. Who knows? Maybe a drone. You just have no who you can even point the finger at. A bullet comes out of the middle of nowhere.
True.
That's a kind of. I'm not saying
Let
I'm
me push-
paranoid
let me
about it
push
all the
back
time.
against that.
I'm
You're-
just saying I have.
Listen.
Okay. Sorry.
You're right. However, China's making drones, and they're making really good ones, way more sophisticated than our drones.
I think the thing that made me nervous was that same company, Palantir, got a deal in America to create a database and help with like surveillance and stuff. So that just makes me scared, and made me a little bit nervous. Not scared, but just like a little bit like, what's going on here? Are we going to enter a surveillance state?
Well, that's one of the arguments for letting chaos take place.
And also Theo brought up how TikTok is being bought and how he thinks they'll be censoring anti-Israel content now. So Joe also has to push back against that and defend Larry Ellison, who's buying it. Like, this is the most I've seen Rogan question what his guest is saying in a long time. It was wild. Like, also Theo talked about how social media companies are radicalizing people and they need to be held accountable, which Rogan told him is dangerous and will lead to censorship.
How are some of these companies not legally liable? Like, if you go to a restaurant, right?
Right.
And somebody poisons you, you could take something up with that restaurant.
Right.
If they poison a bunch of people, may be able to sue the restaurant or have some recourse against that restaurant, the food establishment. But these entities, like these social media places, like if they radicalize someone and they go shoot somebody or something, there's no like accountability for the company. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the company's not radicalizing people, and I think it's a real danger what you're saying, because you know what you're saying is you're opening the door to censorship. You're opening the door to the government saying we're here to protect you.
Well, for one, it feels like they're going to stop allowing TikTok. Like people are going to own it. I think they're selling it or something, so they probably won't be able to show stuff like that anymore.
Well, they sold it to Larry Ellison's company, right? Isn't that who bought TikTok? Yeah, I want to be sure
but
about
do you
this.
think they'll do that so they can limit its control, like control what
Well,
goes
I think
on it?
the real worry that they had before that sale was that China was in control of it, and I think they're right. And I think that if you have a foreign country.
Then at the end of this podcast, they're talking about deportations and ICE, and Theo kind of freaked out about how he thinks the government is failing people, which of course it seems like him and Rogan never will directly call out Trump. I mean, it seems like they're scared to. They'll be like, man, the government, the elected officials, but they'll never say Trump or Trump's administration and call him out directly. But it seems like Theo's kind of on the verge of that. Like, he's just about to snap and completely turn on him.
The problem is cartel people and the whole congressional seats thing. That's the problem.
Well, these people have become pawns. They'll send information to the countries that they live in and get them to come. It's like,
listen, if the population, you're right. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I don't even know probably what I was saying, but I don't know.
If the population,
we're better
increasing
than this. That's what I'm saying. We're better than this.
You and I are.
Yes.
Yeah.
As people, we are better than this.
Yes.
And we have all this elected officials and these people that we thought were like
Manipulative
us.
sociopaths.
When does that end?
That's a good question.
And can it end? Do you think there's a way to end it?
It's going to be hard.
Yeah, so Rogan has to be like the adult and try to calm him down, but his solution is AI taking over, which I think is probably only making Theo feel more anxious. Like, Rogan was trying to calm him down during this podcast, but he's like, humans are going extinct, AI's taking over, that's the future. So Theo was just losing it. And Rogan said he's been reaching out to him, but it's weird. He says off air, Theo hates talking about personal stuff and his feelings. But then once he gets on a podcast, he completely opens up.
Look, I love you very much. And I was trying to reach out because the last thing you want is a friend that maybe is going through some shit, not doing well, and maybe you could have reached out and you didn't.
Yeah, for sure.
That feeling. It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
That you could have helped your friend and you didn't help your friend. But you have a hard time expressing yourself in person sometimes. Like sometimes I'd be asking tell me what's up. Tell me what's bothering you. Tell me, like, how do you feel? What'd you do? And there's like a thing where it's almost like a blockade where you'd rather just like ignore it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when you're talking publicly, you like to address everything, which I find very interesting. It's like you almost feel more comfortable exposing various parts of things that you don't like about life or your life or what's bothering you about life. Publicly, you're better off you're better at doing that than you are privately with your friends.
So things continue to get even crazier for the Rogan sphere. Like, also Tim Dillon has completely turned on Trump now and is directly calling him out. And it seems like Theo will probably be next. Also, Tim and Theo both call out Palantir, which Rogan obviously isn't happy about. But it seems like he's losing his influence. You know, he doesn't have as much control over these comedians as he used to. So he's probably worried they could ruin his relationship with Musk or Thiel. But let me know what you guys think about it. And if you want to hear more about Theo's downward spiral and him bombing his Netflix taping, or William Montgomery recently bombing at a comedy show, which was absolutely hilarious, make sure you check out the Patreon. And I also recently just talked more about the Akash Singh situation and how he's the biggest cuck ever. It just keeps getting more humiliating. And I think Schultz even knows it. So there's a ton of stuff on there. I think over 160 exclusive videos. If you want to keep up to date with everything, make sure you check it out. There'll be a link in the description.